The level of Mbappe at Real Madrid is terrifying. His numbers speak for themselves. 17 goals in the last 16 matches. The Frenchman appears at the most crucial moments when Madrid needs him. He scored the equaliser against Atletico Madrid.
Here we go. He can! And the block comes out to Mbappe, and Mbappe dispatches, and Real Madrid have started.
And also scored in the final against Barcelona, being the only merengue player who lived up to the challenge in that match.
Oh, Mbappe. Oh, no. He's done it.
When his team risked everything against one of the greatest nemeses in the history of Madridismo, Pep Guardiola, Julian opened the scoring at the Etihad Stadium.
What about the second ball? Mbappe's onside. He's completely mishit it.
And at the Santiago Bernabeu, he became the biggest nightmare in Guardiola's history. 1 goal.
He's got beyond Diaz, and he's helped it into
2 goals.
And now Mbappe, it's 2.
3 goals. A hat-trick.
Works an angle and grabs
The Frenchman played like the best player in the world. And it's clear that the debate over who will be the heir to Messi and Cristiano Ronaldo won't be between Kylian and Haaland. It will be between Mbappe and Yamal. What Mbappe has done at Real Madrid is truly noteworthy. With 2 of the 3 possible titles already won, guess what? The Frenchman scored against Atalanta and against Pachuca. Without a doubt, his signing has been decisive. 12 1-0 wins this season position him as one of the most important signings for Madrid in his first season with the Blancos. The Ballon d'Or season has begun, and Kylian Mbappe, not Vinicius Jr., is currently Real Madrid's main contender. Since his spectacular arrival in August 2024, Mbappe has proven to be the key piece in the Blancos' attack. Until now, no one understood Florentino Perez. Everyone wondered, why does Florentino continue to be humiliated by a player who refuses to play for them? The Frenchman didn't just say no once or twice, it was 3 times that this Madrid killer refused to come to the Santiago Bernabeu. But time passed, the Ninja Turtle arrived.
1, 2, 3, a la Madrid!
And his presence was immediately felt. In his official debut during the UEFA Super Cup against Atalanta, Mbappe scored his first goal, contributing to a 2-0 victory and securing the title for the Merengues. The football world expected an immediate impact. Those were the goal numbers for Mbappe at Real Madrid. It was his worst goal-scoring streak at club level since 2021, and it had some Madrid fans growing impatient, wondering, is that why there was so much fuss? A player of his calibre, with his trophy haul and goal-scoring records, was expected to become the cornerstone of the Merengues' attack. However, the reality was very different. His adaptation wasn't only complicated on the field, off it, problems dogged him from day one. The season's start was overshadowed by an off-field scandal.
Kylian Mbappé podría estar siendo investigado por una presunta violación en Suecia. Así lo han informado los medios Aftonbladet y Expressen, quienes desde este lunes habían adelantado que Kiki habría incurrido en actos indebidos en un hotel en el centro de Estocolmo. Esta mañana la Fiscalía sueca confirmó una investigación por agresión sexual, sin mencionar el nombre de Kylian ni de ninguno de los involucrados.
The Swedish prosecutor's office was investigating him for a case that shook his image and diverted attention from his football. Although the controversy eventually subsided, the damage had been done.
Te puedo comentar lo que te he dicho antes, que en este momento son especulaciones. Yo veo el jugador todos los días, trabaja muy bien, está feliz, está contento, y no lo veo afectado para nada.
France stopped calling him up, casting doubts on his leadership of the national team. And in Madrid, the fans began to grow impatient. He wasn't scoring, wasn't assisting, and in every match he seemed increasingly disconnected from the team. He wasn't even a shadow of the unstoppable striker who terrorised Europe with PSG. But the true crisis came in the big games. The breaking point was the Clásico against Barcelona at the Santiago Bernabeu. Hansi Flick's men delivered a masterclass of football, humiliating Madrid with a resounding 0-4 defeat at home. Beyond the result, the match painted a worrying picture of Mbappe. The team was caught offside 12 times, 9 of which were by him. His complete disconnect from Ancelotti's system was evident, his frustration palpable. and his signing was beginning to generate more criticism than excitement. The decline continued in the Champions League. In another crucial tie, Madrid faced a Liverpool revitalised under Arne Slot. Mbappe had the chance to redeem himself, but he ended up living another nightmare, missing a penalty at a decisive moment, sealing yet another painful defeat for the Blancos. And if that wasn't enough, in La Liga the story repeated itself against Athletic Bilbao, where he once again missed a penalty from 11 yards. With every error, the fans' confidence crumbled. By October, the situation was critical. Barcelona was leading La Liga with authority. Vinicius appeared uncomfortable, sharing the attacking spotlight, and Ancelotti seemed at a loss in the face of his team's crisis. What was supposed to be the season in which Mbappe consolidated himself among Spain's elite turned into a disaster. By then, many were already asking, was signing him a mistake? Is Mbappe truly the player that Madrid needs? But in football, history isn't written by the press, the fans, or even the YouTubers. It's written by the geniuses with the ball at their feet. And Mbappe took it upon himself to rewrite his white story. To date, he has played 36 matches for Real Madrid, registering 28 goals and 4 assists in all competitions. Once the focus of criticism and doubt, the Frenchman has re-emerged as the star everyone was waiting for. In his last 17 matches, he has scored an incredible 16 goals, proving that his adaptation to Spanish football and Carlo Ancelotti's system has finally borne fruit. The turning point came in the Champions League, where Mbappe had his first magical night in a Real Madrid shirt against Manchester City. In his first magical night at the Santiago Bernabeu, he scored a hat-trick, sending Madrid to the next round and confirming that he is a player made for big moments. With this treble, Mbappe reached a milestone in his career. It's the 3rd time he has scored 3 goals in a single Champions League match. The previous 2 occasions were with PSG, the first in 2019 when he shone in the group stage against Club Brugge, and the second in the 2021 season when he silenced Camp Nou with a hat-trick against FC Barcelona in the round of 16. Now wearing Real Madrid's shirt, he has proven that he remains a player for epic nights that make all the difference when most needed. This resurgence has not only changed the perception of Madrid's fans, but has also restored confidence in a team that seemed to be in free fall. Mbappe has gone from being a questioned signing to becoming Real Madrid's offensive leader. And with the season's final stretch in sight, the question is clear. Can he maintain this level and lead Madrid to glory in Europe? As Carlo Ancelotti said, the season has just begun for them, and individually, the Frenchman is competing for everything. In La Liga, Mbappe has scored 17 goals, making him the 2nd highest scorer, only behind Robert Lewandowski with 20 goals. And in the UEFA Champions League, he's just 1 goal away from joining the top 3 scorers. The question we all ask is, how did Mbappe improve so much? Let us explain. The rebirth of Kylian Mbappe at Real Madrid is no coincidence. Behind his remarkable goal-scoring form lies a key tactical adjustment within Carlo Ancelotti's system, built on 2 fundamental premises that have maximised his impact on the team. 1. The foundation of Ancelotti's system, an evolution of the 4-3-3. Since returning to Real Madrid, Ancelotti has shown a strong preference for the 4-3-3 as his base structure. This formation has been the backbone of his success, albeit with different nuances according to the profile of his forwards. In the Benzema era, 2021 to 2023, the team operated with a more traditional number 9, though with a lot of mobility. When the French striker left his position, Vinicius Jr. and Rodrigo exploited the spaces created. In the 2023-24 season, without a pure number 9, Ancelotti opted for a different approach by using Jude Bellingham as a false 9, or a number 8.5, a more creative variant emerging from the second line. The Englishman was fundamental in the offensive production, but the lack of a more explosive striker limited the team's impact in quick transitions. This is where Mbappe comes in. His arrival has allowed the 4-3-3 to regain its deadliest version, with a player who can alternate between playing as a winger and as a centre forward, depending on the phase of the match. 2. A system that enhances Mbappe's qualities. If there is one formation where Mbappe has shown himself to be most lethal throughout his career, it is the 4-3-3. Both at PSG and with the French national team, his ideal position has been on the left wing, where he can exploit his speed, dribbling, and ability to unbalance defences. The key change at Real Madrid has not been just his initial positioning on the flank, but also his freedom to move in the front line. In the offensive phase, the team now has 3 major variations with Mbappe, making them truly terrifying. Real Madrid's attack now operates on a different level, with Mbappe able to play in various roles. Traditional left winger, receiving the ball at his feet, and taking on fullbacks one-on-one, something he frequently did in Paris. second striker, exploiting the spaces created by Vinicius when the latter drags defenders toward the centre. Dynamic number 9. In matches where Ancelotti deploys him more centrally, he can receive the ball in depth, turn, and use his acceleration to attack the box. This adjustment has been key to his goal-scoring explosion. Mbappe now touches the ball less, but in more decisive areas, increasing his impact on the game. Why does it work better at Madrid than at PSG? One major difference from his time at PSG is the profile of the players around him. In Paris, Mbappe used to share the attack with teammates, who also demanded the ball at their feet, like Neymar or Messi, which limited his ability to exploit space. At Madrid, however, he has two players with complementary profiles. Vinicius Jr., who dribbles and creates space with his vertical runs. Bellingham, who acts as an attacking midfielder, linking the midfield and the attack. This tactical setup has allowed Mbappe to fully exploit his talents and become a key factor in Real Madrid's resurgence. Another key aspect is the tactical dilemma that Ancelotti solved: how to integrate Mbappe without unbalancing Madrid. Initially, the 4-3-3 was the foundation of Real Madrid under Carlo Ancelotti, but with the arrival of Kylian Mbappe, the Italian coach faced a crucial tactical challenge: how to incorporate his new style without affecting the performances of Vinicius Jr. and Rodrigo. The solution wasn't simple, but two main options emerged within this framework, each with its own advantages and drawbacks. 1. Mbappe as the 9, the most natural solution. In a system where Vinicius remains the left winger, the most logical option is to play Mbappe as the central striker. This is a role he has already performed at PSG, especially in the 2023-24 season under Luis Enrique, as well as for the French national team, so it isn't unfamiliar to him. In this position, Mbappe enjoys complete mobility in the final third, which allows him to hold up play against the opposing centre-backs and free up space for Vinicius and Rodrigo. Drop deep to receive the ball between the lines, enabling his teammates to exploit the spaces created. Make runs in behind the defence, a trait that makes him lethal on quick transitions. Attack the gaps between the centre-backs, one of his greatest strengths when finishing with speed. The key to this variant is that Mbappe isn't a static 9, but a forward with the freedom to leave the area, link up with teammates, and break defensive lines with his explosiveness. Additionally, he could occasionally swap positions with Vinicius at pivotal moments. 2. Ancelotti's 4-4-2, the tactical jewel that transformed Mbappe at Real Madrid. While the 4-3-3 has been Real Madrid's standard system under Ancelotti, the true tactical gem of the Italian coach has been his modern version of the 4-4-2, a formation that allowed him to maximise Jude Bellingham's potential in the 2023-24 season, and now provides the perfect stage for the definitive breakthrough of both Mbappe and Vinicius. But why is the 4-4-2 featuring Mbappe and Vinicius as the attacking duo one of Madrid's best weapons in high-stakes matches? In this system, Real Madrid sacrifices one winger, such as Rodrigo, to bolster the midfield with an extra player at the base of the play. While this may reduce width, it gains explosiveness and verticality with two forwards who have total freedom to exploit any open space with unmatched speed. How does it work? Mbappe and Vinicius form a striking partnership without a traditional fixed 9. Instead of relying on a lone striker, both have complete freedom to move across the front line. This setup benefits the team in quick transitions, as they exploit the spaces left by the opponents with intelligent off-the-ball runs. The fullbacks assume a more offensive role, providing width when necessary. Bellingham, or a creative midfielder such as Valverde or Camavinga in certain contexts, occupies the space as the playmaker or second striker, acting as the connector between the midfield and the forwards. In which matches would this system work best? It is especially lethal against teams that play with an advanced defensive line, leaving gaps at the back, seek to dominate possession, thus offering Madrid chances to counter quickly, as seen in the Super Copa final against Barcelona. Employ attacking fullbacks that occasionally leave their defensive duties, facilitating one-on-one situations for the forwards. Variant 4-4-1-1, Mbappe as an attacking midfielder. Another option Ancelotti has employed within the 4-4-2 framework is modifying the attacking setup to a 4-4-1-1, with Mbappe operating freely behind Vinicius. In this case, Mbappe enjoys complete freedom of movement, able to drop deep to receive the ball or make fast, incisive runs. Vinicius serves as the primary offensive reference, with the possibility of exchanging positions with his teammate. This configuration reinforces the midfield, as players like Bellingham or Valverde cover the right flank during transitions. This variant is used in matches where Madrid seeks to strengthen its midfield without sacrificing offensive prowess. The rigid 4-4-2, Mbappe as a pure winger. Though less natural for Mbappe, a third option within Ancelotti's varied 4-4-2 setups is to deploy him as an out-and-out winger, providing speed and unpredictability on the flank. How does this work? Mbappe operates wide either on the right or left depending on the opposition and team structure. He is tasked with making diagonal runs into the box or delivering crosses to the secondary striker. He can also exploit the space on the outside, creating opportunities for Vinicius or the central striker. This system, though less flexible, offers more defensive order and balance in midfield, allowing the team to maintain a more stable structure without losing its attacking explosiveness. In which matches does this work best? Against teams that sit deep and require width to stretch the defence. In games where Madrid needs to control possession and patiently build up play. Since that fateful night at San Mamés, when he missed a penalty and raised many doubts about his performance, Kylian Mbappe has completely transformed his impact at Real Madrid. He went from being a player disconnected from Ancelotti's system to becoming the absolute leader of the merengues' attack. And nothing illustrates this transformation better than his performance in the tie against Manchester City. Real Madrid sealed their place in the Champions League round of 16 with a dominant display at the Santiago Bernabeu. After a 2-3 loss in the first leg, where he had already shown his ability to react, the team confirmed its superiority with a 3-1 win in the second leg, a match in which Mbappe delivered his best performance in a white shirt so far, a hat-trick that shattered Guardiola's hopes and those of his team. Madrid approached the match with smart, pragmatic tactics, ceding possession at times but being lethal on every turnover. Ancelotti opted for a flexible 4-4-2, featuring Mbappe and Vinicius as the striking duo instead of the classic 4-3-3. The idea was clear: attack with speed and take advantage of every space left by City. The Italian coach knew that the English side's defence, used to playing with a high line, would struggle against the Frenchman's off-the-ball runs. The first blow came early. While City was still trying to impose their rhythm, Madrid broke through the defensive line with a surgical pass from Raúl Asensio, which found Mbappe in full sprint. With the opposition's defence disorganised and Ederson scrambling to recover, the Frenchman displayed his class with a delicate nutmeg that put Madrid ahead. That goal was a devastating psychological blow for City, which immediately lost control of the match. Mbappe's second goal was a demonstration of both power and technique inside the box. In the 33rd minute, he received a ball with his back to goal, executed a lightning-fast turn that left Ruben Dias behind, and fired a precise shot into the near post. Within half an hour, Real Madrid had completely taken charge of the game, managing the tempo and forcing City to take risks. Already in the second half, with Guardiola's team desperate for answers, Mbappe completed his hat-trick with a cross shot from the corner of the box in the 61st minute. This was the definitive confirmation that this Real Madrid had matured, that it was no longer the erratic team of the early season, and that its star had finally found his best form. Although Nico Gonzalez scored in stoppage time to make the result look less harsh, the 6-2 aggregate left no doubt about the overwhelming tactical superiority of Ancelotti's side. Beyond the scoreline, this match demonstrated Real Madrid's evolution. Ancelotti adapted his tactics perfectly to the circumstances, and Mbappe understood that his role wasn't only to score goals, but also to be a key cog in the team's offensive machinery. With a more balanced defence and a sharp, precise offensive transition, Madrid has made it clear that they are ready to fight for everything. If this level of play is maintained, with Mbappe leading the attack, Vinicius complementing him with his dynamism, and a solid midfield featuring Bellingham and Valverde, Real Madrid not only looks like the favourite in La Liga, but also emerges as a firm candidate to win the Champions League. Let's dive deeper. Real Madrid didn't just beat Manchester City, they tamed them with tactical intelligence and individual superiority. Under the flexible, dynamic 4-3-3 system, Carlo Ancelotti's side dismantled Guardiola's defensive lines, exposing every weakness and proving that this Madrid team is ready to compete for the Champions League. The key to the victory wasn't just in offensive execution, it was in the way Madrid imposed its pace, denying City its usual control and striking in exactly the right moments. The white attacking trio functioned with surgical precision. On the right wing, Rodrigo Goes played a crucial role by providing width and making penetrating runs. His duel with Josko Gvardiol, a player not naturally a fullback, proved to be a significant advantage, which Ancelotti exploited to the fullest. With his change of pace and one-on-one ability, Rodrigo forced Gvardiol to retreat continuously, generating space that Madrid intelligently capitalised on. On the other side, Vinicius Jr. put on a display of imbalance and explosiveness. His duel with Abdulkadir Husanov turned into a constant dance, where City's fullback never found answers. With every ball recovery, Vinicius burst forward, attacking relentlessly and drawing defenders away, thereby freeing up his teammates. His ability to create danger with his dribbling completely unravelled Guardiola's defensive structure, leaving the opposition scrambling for solutions. But the centrepiece of this tactical masterpiece was Kylian Mbappe. With no fixed position and complete freedom in attack, the Frenchman became a nightmare for City's defence. His mobility was decisive. Whenever City tried to press high, Mbappe attacked the spaces behind their centre-backs, forcing them to retreat and breaking through with incisive runs. His 3 goals were no accident. They were the result of a Madrid that perfectly understood how to exploit the English champions' vulnerabilities. The impact of this strategy was reflected not only in the scoreline, but also in the overall sense of absolute superiority. City, a team used to dominating possession and wearing down their opponents, found themselves facing a Madrid that was lethal on the counter and in full control of the game's tempo. Ancelotti didn't try to mimic Guardiola's style. Instead, he crafted a strategy that made City uncomfortable, exploiting their defensive fragility with a blistering rapid attack. The first goal by Real Madrid was a perfect example of how verticality and efficiency can dismantle a well-organised defensive structure like that of Manchester City. Carlo Ancelotti understood that one of Pep Guardiola's team's main vulnerabilities was the exposure of their centre-backs during defensive transitions, especially when the team was pushing forward in attack. The play began with Raúl Asensio, who, from his own half, spotted the space between City's centre-backs and executed a long pass with surgical precision. Ruben Dias, positioned too high and with poor body orientation, couldn't react in time to intercept the ball, leaving Kylian Mbappe with a positional advantage. This mismatch allowed the French striker to attack the space with complete freedom, one of his greatest strengths in the final third. Mbappe's finish was the key element that fully consolidated the play. Faced with Edison Moraes, who hesitated between quickly closing down or retreating, the Frenchman opted for the best possible solution in that context. A precise nutmeg that exploited the distance between the goalkeeper and the goal. The execution was technically flawless, leaving City's defence with no options and putting Madrid ahead in the opening minutes. Beyond the individual execution, the goal reflected a clear strategic decision by Real Madrid, not to compete with City in possession, but in efficiency and depth. The play encapsulated 3 fundamental principles of Ancelotti's approach. Reading the spaces. Asensio's pass exposed City's vulnerability during defensive transitions, exploiting Mbappe's offensive profile. Instead of prioritising positional play, Madrid focused on making penetrating runs. Efficiency in finishing. With only 2 passes, the team created a clear goal-scoring opportunity, demonstrating that possession alone doesn't equal control of the game. But we must emphasise, Real Madrid's victory over Manchester City cannot be analysed without highlighting the impact of Kylian Mbappe, who was the most decisive player of the match from both a tactical and strategic point of view. His influence wasn't limited to finishing plays, he was also fundamental in the team's overall offensive dynamics, both in creating spaces and accelerating transitions. One of the main factors behind his performance was his ability to lose his marker and exploit gaps, one of his most difficult qualities to neutralise. Throughout the match, Real Madrid opted for a more direct style in their build-up, constantly seeking a pass behind Ruben Dias and City's centre-backs. In these situations, Mbappe showcased his explosive speed to break lines and receive the ball in advantageous positions, forcing Guardiola's defence to repeatedly readjust their positioning and height. In one-on-one duels, Mbappe was a constant threat to the opposing defence. He easily outplayed Gvardiol in the second goal, exposing the Croatians' difficulty in managing 1-versus-1 situations in open space. Moreover, he managed to impose himself against Ruben Dias, a defender who is solid when marking but vulnerable when it comes to acceleration and changes of pace. These individual battles were crucial in shaping the match, as they forced City to retreat at certain moments and abandon their usual high pressing, giving Madrid greater control in the opponent's half. However, his impact wasn't limited to scoring. Mbappe also acted as a space creator, facilitating the movements of Vinicius Jr. and Rodrigo. His off-the-ball mobility, in line with Ancelotti's plan, allowed for a more fluid and dynamic style, where Madrid didn't rely solely on possession, but on the speed with which they could punish the spaces behind City's defence. Additionally, his presence in the final third attracted constant marking, opening passing lanes and providing new offensive options for his teammates. Tactically, the match demonstrated that Real Madrid has successfully integrated Mbappe into a balanced system, where his role isn't just as a finisher, but also as a destabiliser of the opponent's defensive setup. His ability to turn every pass into a direct threat to the goal has provided Madrid with a lethal offensive variant, solidifying them as a team capable of adapting to different opponents and contexts without losing their identity.